We have Sonata Software that's on our radar right now. It was a seasonally weak quarter for the company. Their margins contracted while there was an exceptional loss of almost 175 crores. Although their international IT services revenues saw about a 3% growth in a seasonally weak quarter. Samir, Dhir, the MD and CEO of the company, is with us, of Sonata Software. Samir, thanks a lot for joining in. I wanted to understand how Q4 is shaping up for you, because in a seasonally weak quarter, your international IT services revenues were up about 3% sequentially. I mean, the entire industry is kind of seeing a bit of slowdown in growth. But how is Q4 shaping up for you?
Yeah, hi, morning. So I think overall, the demand environment in general continues to be tough given the macroeconomic challenges and the slowdown in tech spend. But I think overall, we have clocked 3 to 3.5% growth quarter on quarter, with considering everything else that's happening in the industry is a pretty strong momentum. And what is heartening is that our order book, the book-to-bill ratio has been about 1.24 as well. So clearly booked more than we have built even in the last quarter. As we move forward, I think we're cautiously watching the environment, and we believe the same pattern that we have seen in the last 4 or 5 quarters that will probably continue. Of course, Q4, the current quarter, has also seasonality built into it. It's generally a seasonally weak quarter for one of the acquisitions that we made. But beyond that, I think for the whole year, we still think that the pattern that we saw in the whole year will probably continue into coming year as well.
Okay. I just want to make a quick mention. You've got to look at the rupee, which is opening stronger. I mean, much stronger. I mean, these are large moves we've seen. So I mean, just coming to you, because you got the market open coming up as well. The currency is opened stronger. Yesterday, the currency strengthened after, the budget numbers were released. It's strengthened more. And you've got the yields, which have dropped a little bit more. We've got a 10 basis point fall in the 10-year here in India. And that is continuing, although, of course, I mean, the extent is a little less now. But it's, on the downward trajectory, which is what we really want, at least when we started. Of course, let's go back to Sonata Software. Samir, hi, morning. Prashant here. Margins, though, on the international side have contracted. I think about 50 basis points quarter on quarter, 100 basis points year on year. I think on the domestic side also, we've seen some contraction. Could you tell us, will that be the case continuing into what you're seeing in Q4 and into FY25 as well?
Yeah, so we have always guided that we want to be in the low 20s EBITDA for a fairly long time now. I think what happened in Q1 and Q1 we had, if you recall, a fairly large deal that we had won. So we had staffed up for that deal in Q1 without any revenue. And in Q2, we did not have to take the cost because the people were already there and the investments were already there. So Q2 had some one-time uplift in the margin. So Q3 is more or less like a normalized quarter now, back again in the low 20s EBITDA. And I think that's a trajectory we have always guided at between 20 to 22% or so will be at from an international business perspective. On the domestic side, I think our teams have done an exceptionally good quarter. I think it was a very strong quarter for us. Our gross contribution grew Y on Y about 26%. So we're very proud of the achievements that our teams have done in the domestic business. The overall correction that we did, or the exceptional item that we stated, is for the overpayment on behalf of the acquisition that we made, and those acquisitions are overperformed. What we've done is really budgeted out what is due to them this year and forecasted the earnouts that they will make, additional earnouts that they will make in the coming year. And that's what has flown through the P&L. So just as a one-time correction, you see that as an exceptional item. But otherwise, the domestic business, very strong gross contribution movement. And the international business, we expect to be the low 20s even go forward.
All right, Samir, I think you have briefly referring to Quant, right? The acquisition that you did, which had revenues of close to around $37 million at the time of acquiring it. Could you tell us how has the performance been of Quant? Point number one, how do you see that ramping up? And give us further clarity on the contingent liabilities, because you have to make that payment over 2 years. 1 year is done. How much more to follow?
Yeah, so overall, we're very pleased with the whole capital investment we made in the Quant acquisition. I think it's really outperformed our top end of our expectations. So it's a good sign. And it's a good sign in two senses. One, because if you recall, the whole thesis that we had for quant acquisition was that we have two scale accounts, and both of them have done exceptionally well. So it gives us two very large accounts in our top 10 customers, and also the differentiated services that they have on enterprise data and data privacy. That's a huge potential in the marketplace. So we're taking those offerings to the other clients of Sonata as well. So in the whole, I think clearly quant acquisition has exceeded expectations. And as we look forward, I think that, like I said, the payouts are in two tranches. The first payout is due in Q1 and Q2 of this calendar year. And then the second payout, or the last payout, will happen in Q1 and Q2 of next calendar year.
All right, Samir, we'll let you go on that note. Thanks a lot for joining in and speaking to CNBC TV18. That is Sonata Software with their business as well as the way forward.